Hello and welcome to Where the Living Room Used to Be, a podcast about Rhode Island's music scene.
Hey everyone, it's James. On this mini-episode, Christian Caldarone shares his perspective on success, the level of love he has for the Rhode Island music community, as well as the ways he gets through writer's block. If you've been enjoying this podcast, please leave a rating and review, and also make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening right now. Thanks.
Is there a piece of music advice that you've learned from a mentor or another bandmates or just, club owner or whoever has been part of your musical story, someone that they impressed upon you that stuck with you that you would like to pass along?
Yes. I'm not sure when it was. It was within the last 4 years, though. Talking with Gregory Rourke at the Parlor. I've known Gregory since high school, so we've talked a lot, and we're quite close. But he was telling me a story about an older blues musician who was playing, and I don't know who it was, but he was being questioned by someone who was sort of, I think, genuinely asking why she's still doing what she's doing, because she's never going to make it at her age. That's how the question was posed. Yeah. It was about achievement. And what Gregory told me is, his answer was, she's made it. What are you talking about? Uh-huh. She's playing, she's doing what she loves. And she's still doing it. She has made it. And, that connection to that, it wasn't really advice, but it was just an amazing thought that if you're doing what you love, then that's the highest point of achievement. So you disconnect it from a material sense of success. Yeah. And just the pure activity, the pure action of doing it, you've made it. Yeah. Where else is there to go? Even if you're a professional musician, you're still doing the same thing. You're going out on stage and playing. If you're going out on stage and playing to 10 people in the backyard, you made it. Mm-hmm. If you're enjoying, and so that really made an impression on me, because sometimes musicians, I might be coming off I'm above all this, but I'm not. I get upset. I get depressed about things musically, But that sort of notion that, hey, I'm still doing it. Yeah. And I'm doing it with musicians now who are the best musicians I've ever played with, and they want to play my silly songs. What a great notion for musicians to think about. Mm-hmm. If you're doing what you love and you're enjoying it, and other people are contributing with you, unless you're a solo artist, then you made it. Mm-hmm. Who cares what other people think? Mm-hmm. And who cares about objective measures of success? Mm-hmm. Come on, there's amazing musicians playing right now somewhere in town that, a lucky break here or there, and they could be touring, and they could be on the radio or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's so beyond anything right now. Yeah. That matters to me. And in some ways, maybe playing locally even frees you up a little bit more. You don't have to. Who cares if you... I just play I get a different band when I write different songs. I don't have to play the same songs for 25 years. In some ways, that's liberating. Yeah. So I'm sorry to make that such a long answer, but Gregory Rourke has a lot of pearls of wisdom, and that's certainly one story that's stayed with me.
Yeah. No, it's important to just
shout out, G.
keep that up front. It's so hard to not look at these like external measures and looking at it's really easy when you're pouring so much out and wanting to have this other stuff almost be validated, but removing that and just looking at just what is happening, and that, I've tried to do that a lot more too. Of just like, my goal is to write a record that I will listen to.
That's a great way to think about it.
Like hopefully other people like it, and I do feel that people will really like the new High Plains album. But if they don't, then I'm listening to it. My kid, shout out to Theodore, started singing Undone the other day, which is pretty cool. So
that's funny you say that, because a lot of times in my mind, that's what I'm doing. Like, when I die, my kids will have these, and my kids are, I was going to say, my kids are great because they like my music. That sounds so terrible, because I just talk about removing the external measures of success. But my kids are great because they do appreciate what I do. Mm-hmm. And they'll listen to the songs, and they're like, oh, Dad, because trust me, they have teenage tastes in music and more evolved stuff. Mm-hmm. But they listen and are like, they dig stuff, And so a lot of times that's my measure. I just want to leave something, maybe their kids, they'll get to know their grandpa. That's cool. And they'll be like, and maybe that informs some of the themes I write about. I don't tend to write like a lot of sexy love songs.
Yeah.
But I'm also old, so you don't write about that when you're my age.
But with that, though, you've been playing music for a long time, written many different styles of music and, done sound, just had your hand in a lot of different things in music. Has there been something that you've learned from your own personal experience that you would like to pass along?
What I would say to musicians and everybody really, but I would say, if you love someone, tell them. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know if you're going to see him again. And it sounds terrible to say, but like, it's happened to many of us recently where you thought you'd see that person next week at a show, and now they're gone. So it's made me realize how much the musical community means to me, how important it is in my life, how it's been a constant through my life. Of course, there's all jealousies and this and that, but when you take all that stuff aside and put it in its box, it really, like, it's people sharing a passion. Mm-hmm. And there's work colleagues we have that we get along with great, but I think when you share a passion, you have to appreciate how important that is and tell people. Mm-hmm. And from a musician's point of view, when you can be connected with that emotion and acknowledge it and be as free with it as you can be, because there's a risk involved in this, because you can get burned and get hurt. Mm-hmm. But if you can sort of deal with that, the more open you are with the musician, as a musician, the more you grow as a musician, and the better the music. You're able to hear other people. I'm a songwriter, but I still listen to what other people are playing, and then it kind of changes my playing and sometimes changes the song. I mean, yeah. I don't think I've ever barked at like, oh, James, play it this way. Sometimes I have an idea. Oh, I just had an idea for this drum, but I don't really give too much direction. I love to let things go and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And you trust the people you're with, you value them, and it just elevates your game. So I think if you love people, be in touch with those feelings, tell them, and don't stop telling them. Mm-hmm. I know that's pretty emotional answer, but that's what I'm feeling these days. And specifically in songwriting, my sage advice to young songwriters is to listen to different styles of music. And if you feel like you're getting stuck, switch instruments. Or throw your guitar in some tuning, detune your guitar, strum it till it sounds interesting to you, and write. Because there's something just about hearing different combinations of different harmonic combinations that open up different fissures of your mind. And sometimes if you're a little blocked, I'll go to the piano, my left hand will start doing this weird bass thing that I would never do on guitar because I only have 4 fingers to do stuff with.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's an idea, and then all of a sudden it sparks an image, and then I have the beginning of a song.
Yeah, okay.
So songwriters, practice your craft on different instruments and different tunings. Even if you can't play them. Hell, I can't play piano, but I write songs on piano.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. And then I always want to ask, what inspires you? It can be, with your songwriting, your lyrics itself, or just, a more general question as well.
Seeing great live music is still very inspiring to me. It was a real reason why, COVID was so hard. It was a specific reason why COVID was so hard for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure other people can completely relate. Not being able to see live performances and the magic that happens when the bass and drums click into a really great rhythm.
Yeah.
And the other things that happen, that's inspiring, and I still completely get off on great shows. In terms of songwriting, I don't know. I think it's more of a compulsion for me than it is an inspiration. I just can't not do it. When I'm not doing it, I'm a miserable bastard. I mean, like I mentioned, in COVID, I wasn't writing. I don't know. I mentioned before, I get really, really deep into writing when I'm in the middle of a song on a lot of things, and I don't think I wanted myself to go there during COVID.
Oh, okay.
Because I was just hanging on.
Yeah.
And I had a family and kids who were struggling. I couldn't be a basket case, and I can be a basket case when I'm writing songs. And I just didn't think I could allow myself to go there, because we all needed to be strong for each other.
Yeah.
And we did. My family wasn't like I was helping them. They helped me more than I helped them. But I think songwriting to me it's more of a compulsion. I just, whether it's working out stuff that's going on inside my head subconsciously, and I just stream of consciousness, let lyrics come out, and then grab an image or an idea and then write the song based on that I would interpret as a real, almost organic way to write. Or if I have a concrete thing, like when I had the conversation with my friend about being an empath, I don't know, then I just get this overwhelming feeling like I have to sit down and block everything out and do it.
Okay.
So I don't know if I don't know. That's a real tough question for me, because I don't know if it's an inspiration. I think it's
more of the, just
compulsion.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a terrible thing. It's terrible. My family hates me. Leave me alone. Although it's funny, yeah. all my phone things, like when I'm trying to write my voice, you hear dogs barking, you hear kids yelling, you hear my wife, wait, did you get the clothes yet? It's so funny.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
This has been really cool to talk to you about what inspires you and what drives you and just your experience with music in this regard. So thank you for sharing that, Christian.
Well, thank you for asking me. And yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks again for listening. As you just heard, Christian talked about ways to switch things up to create new songs. So I wanted to share an example of this with you. What I have next is his song Figure 8, that you'll hear is in a different tuning than most other tracks on High Plains' new album, Ghost Town. The song also happens to be my personal favorite off the record, so hope you enjoy it as well.
Got something to say, you gotta open your mouth. If you need your voices heard, lay it down and play it loud. Oh yes, I see you on your cross, so quiet and proud. It's a moment of truth and it's a matter of time. It's a figure of speech and it's a very fine wine. It's the distance from each memory to the very same scar. Maybe I'm just a fool who takes all of this too far. Starts or where it ends. I can't find where this starts or where it ends. I can't find where this starts or where it ends. I can't find where this starts or where it ends. It's the distance from this rooftop, oh, up to the stars. Yes, I'm certain that I'm just a fool who's taken this too far. This starts or where it ends. I can't find
where this starts or where it ends, I can't find. Where this starts or where it ends, I can't find. Where this starts or where it ends.